The savanna awoke under a blazing golden sunrise. Shadows stretched long across the grasslands. Two rangers, a man and a woman, set out on patrol. Their mission was to protect, to rescue, to endure. Every heartbeat carried the weight of the wild. The car rumbled across the red dirt road. Dust swirled behind them like a tail of fire. Birdsong drifted faintly through the warm breeze. The woman scribbled notes in her worn field journal. The man tightened his grip on his tranquilizer gun. Days of patrol had left them weary and strained. The savanna stretched endlessly, horizon after horizon. Every mile carried them further from safety. But their eyes burned with duty and purpose. This was the life they had chosen to serve. Then the landscape shifted into something strange. By a lone twisted tree, a lion stood unmoving. Its body sagged awkwardly against the trunk. Its eyes didn't track their approach at all. The stillness was unnatural, terrifying wrong. The rangers halted, the car's engine silent. Predators never stood like statues in daylight. This was a sign of danger and suffering. The woman's frown deepened with dread. They stepped out, hearts pounding with fear. The air was heavy, filled with the scent of decay. Every step toward the tree tightened their throats. The man's hand clenched around his saw handle. The woman's eyes darted to the still lion. What they discovered froze them in shock. The lion's neck was trapped in a branch. The wood cut deep like the jaws of steel. Its ribs jutted through its thin, wasted body. Flies swarmed over its infected wounds. It had clearly been here for days in agony. The woman crouched down, heart breaking. The swollen neck oozed blood and pus. Every shallow breath wheezed from its chest. It was hovering on the edge of death. Her fingers trembled as she reached closer. The man spoke low, grim and tight. It must have rubbed its body on the tree. The branch caught, tearing open its flesh. Struggles had worsened the wound beyond measure. At last, exhaustion had claimed its strength. Silence weighed heavy on the two rescuers. The station was 2 days away from here. There was no signal, no call for help. They were utterly alone with this dying king. And time was slipping away like sand. Their eyes locked with unspoken resolve. They knew hesitation meant certain death. It was a mission of risk and sacrifice. Every choice would decide life or loss. They nodded once and began to act. The woman readied her tranquilizer rifle. Her pulse pounded, but her aim held steady. The dart struck, the lion shuddered weakly. Moments later, its body sagged to the ground. Unconsciousness took hold, breath slow but present. The man leapt forward with the saw in hand. Each stroke grated against the stubborn wood. Sweat poured down his temples and chin. The sound echoed harshly in the silence. The branch fought back like iron. The woman stood near with the medical kit. Her eyes never left the lion's limp body. Her hands trembled but stayed ready to act. The smell of infection stung her nose. Every second felt like walking a knife's edge. At last the branch split with a crack. The lion collapsed forward onto the dirt. Blood flowed fresh from its tortured neck. But it was finally free from the tree. Freedom meant a chance to cling to life. The rangers moved quickly to save it. Antiseptic burned through the open gash. Bandages pressed tight against swollen flesh. An antibiotic injection pierced its skin. Every move was a race against death. They hauled the heavy body onto a stretcher. Ropes secured it inside the vehicle cage. The lion's breath rasped but continued. Its body reeked of decay and suffering. Still, there was fragile hope within them. The car bumped across endless savanna roads. Heat shimmered like fire on the horizon. Dust clouds rose with every spin of the tires. The lion twitched in pain from time to time. The woman leaned close with drops of water. Through long nights, they camped by firelight. The lion lay weak in the cage beside them. The woman fed it sips of water. The man kept watch with sleepless eyes. Each shallow breath was a small victory. By the second morning, a miracle appeared. The lion lifted its head weakly to drink. It chewed on dried meat with effort. Its eyes flickered with faint will to live. The ranger shared tears of fragile hope. At last the ranger station came into view. The vehicle rolled into a storm of urgency. Veterinarians rushed forward to receive the patient. The lion was carried swiftly into the clinic. The true battle for survival had begun. Doctors worked for hours in tense silence. Rotting tissue was carefully cut away. The wounds were cleaned and tightly stitched. Antibiotics coursed into its fragile body. Hope hung heavy in every breath. The next morning, its eyes slowly opened. It licked its dry lips with a weak tongue. A low rumble vibrated in its chest. The ranger stood watching with tears. The beast had returned from the brink. Day by day, strength crept back into its frame. It stood on shaky legs, then walked. Its golden fur shone brighter with each sunrise. Scars still marked its noble body, but life pulsed strong in its veins again. A week later, it moved to a larger pen. Here it paced and stretched with renewed vigor. Its wounds healed under careful care. Each visit from the ranger sparked recognition. A soft growl greeted them like an old friend. On the 10th day, the moment arrived. They loaded the lion into the truck once more. The road led back to the endless savanna. The cage door swung open under the sun. The king of beasts was ready to return. The lion stepped out with measured strength. It breathed deeply, chest rising with power. Its golden mane shimmered in the light. The wild called it home once again. Freedom burned in its every movement. Then it turned its gaze upon the rangers. Its eyes locked, heavy with silent gratitude. For a moment, the world held its breath. No words were needed in that look. A bond eternal had been forged. The lion walked forward into the tall grass. Its body melted into the golden waves. Each step carried it further into freedom. Its silhouette shimmered against the horizon. And then it was gone. The ranger stood still, awash in silence. They knew they had done more than save a life. They had given back a spirit to the wild. The savanna would forever remember this day. So too would their hearts. As the car rolled slowly back to the station, memories replayed like a fire in their minds. It was more than duty, more than rescue. It was destiny fulfilled on the open plains. The day they gave a lion back his kingdom. Far away, the lion's silhouette melted into the horizon. The glowing sky turned into a canvas of gold and fire. Each step carried him deeper into freedom's embrace. The savanna seemed to honor his return with silence. The rangers knew this sight would never leave their memory. Climbing back into their jeep, they drove toward the station. Their expressions were heavy with thought and reflection. The endless savanna stretched ahead like an eternal sea. Dust swirled in their wake, blending with fading sunlight. The road home felt longer, filled with quiet meaning. The setting sun bathed the land in crimson light. Golden waves of grass swayed gently under the wind. The ranger stared out, humbled by the vast wilderness. This land was alive, powerful, and forever untamed. And now, its king once again roamed free. In the distance, the lion roared into the horizon. The sound echoed across the plains like a hymn. His golden mane shimmered beneath the sinking sun. It was a roar of strength, survival, and freedom. The wild had claimed him back, forever majestic.